Hi again, Susan McLaughlin from Past Life Adventures. Today I'm answering an interesting question. Do cultural preferences and affinity for languages come from past life memories? Well, I believe they certainly can. In my experience, I have noticed that most people have a country or place they are attracted to outside of where they live. I know for myself, England was a draw card for me, and I certainly felt at home when I lived there for a year. I also have a strong affinity with the United States and Native American culture. I have subsequently discovered the past life sources of these attractions, which explain a lot about my life this time around. It's not surprising to be attracted to visiting countries that you've lived in before. You feel comfortable there, and just like in this life, if you've moved away from the place you were born in, you have a natural curiosity to return and see what it's like now. This isn't always the case, however. Some places hold unpleasant memories of traumatic events, and people I have worked with have an aversion to visiting somewhere they once called home. For example, I had one client who was gassed in a concentration camp in Germany, so has no desire whatsoever to return to that place. Other people have fears related to visiting certain locations, which can be inconvenient if you find you have to go there for some reason. They often have a sense of foreboding because they know they suffered something terrible in these places and can't shake the feeling, even though it happened a long time ago and in another lifetime. I've known people to also have a dislike for certain cultures. I attended a workshop many years ago and listened to past life stories of the people in the room. One lady who was from Russia said she hated the French, although she had no logical reason for it. She just couldn't stand to be near them. Interestingly, she was sitting next to a French woman who owned up to it. This was a little uncomfortable for all concerned, but I thought that it was mildly amusing. There are absolutely no coincidences. Obviously, something has happened to her at the hands of the French, perhaps in wartime. These experiences are quite common. Another really interesting phenomenon is xenoglossy, or the ability to speak another language whilst in hypnosis that you've never been able to speak before. This is not so common, but there are many interesting stories of people who have been able to speak another language during a course of a regression. It is something that can also happen after an accident where there's been a concussion. The medical profession will explain it as something else, but I believe that perhaps the mind activates long-lost memories from another time when it receives a jolt. To me, it's like the rest of past life regression, memories that are being activated during hypnosis. Only it's memories of a language that was spoken in another time. On the subject of language, have you ever realised that you could pick up a specific language really easily? I often ask people who have had specific memories in a different country if they had learned that country's language in this lifetime. A vast majority will tell me they learned it without trying too hard, or will go off and learn for no particular reason. I have a friend who loves everything about Italy. When I first met her, I thought she was actually Italian. She loved the food, the wine, the people, and talked about it constantly. She knew many Italian words, despite never learning the language. So where do you think this kind of interest comes from? That's a no-brainer for me. I have not done a regression with her, but I'm sure if I did, I suspect the life would be in Italy. If you would like to examine your cultural interests, you can book a session with me through my website, susanmclaughlin.com. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Susan McLaughlin, or like my Facebook page, Past Life Adventures. See you soon.